Okay, so today the first day of Navratri, and I welcome all the Durgas as a listener, and as well as special welcome for Dr. Seema Mehre ma'am, myself Dr. Shraddha Gosavi, and we are welcoming everyone on the first day of Navratri, and we are going to conduct the continuous 9 days with nine different Durga in the Navratri, for especially for the women empowerment and women health series, lecture series. So I'm just introducing ma'am. Ma'am is a professor and head of the department of Yerla Medical College, which is situated at Khargar. Madam is MD in gynecology from Tilak Ayurved College, Pune, as well as ma'am's specialization is in Ayurvedic gynecology, Garbha Sanskar, and specially in the music therapy in pregnancy, infertility as well as PCOS. Ma'am is PG guide as well as PhD guide. Special recognition is Madam is a BEC member and now treasurer of Family Planning Association of India, Mumbai branch, and has conducted several camps through that. Especially one more recognition means ma'am is very active in extracurricular activities also, like painting, dancing, drawing, singing. I think in every field madam has achieved many things in her extracurricular activities also. सो मराठीमध्ये एक हरहुन्नरी म्हणतात असं व्यक्तिमत्व आज आम्हाला पहिल्याच दिवशी लाभलेलं आहे. आणि याचं मला वाटतं शैलपुत्री हे फर्स्ट डे साठी जे देवीचं नाव आहे, स्ट्रेंथ, करेज आणि कंपोशर, तर मॅडम मला वाटतं या सगळ्या गोष्टींचा भरपूर खजिना मॅडमकडे आहे. आणि आजचा फर्स्ट डेचा विषय आहे ल्युकोरिया थ्रू द लेन्स ऑफ आयुर्वेदा. सो मॅम, please, the dais is all yours, and we want to listen from on the topic leukorrhea through the lens of Ayurveda.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Sheetal. And this is really a very pleasant and happy occasion for me today. I thank the organizers for inviting me for this beautiful event. And I really appreciate the vision of Vedayu, because they have arranged this program in a very apt manner, in the sense that Women Health Series they have started on the auspicious occasion of the Navratri festival. And I'm sure even if all the Durgas are busy in their own schedule, I'll surely they will have time to watch this very important disease which occurs in their life sometime, somewhere. And thank you once again. I will begin my lecture. So today my topic is leukorrhea. Leukorrhea is through the lens of Ayurveda. What is leukorrhea? Leukorrhea is nothing but white discharge through the vagina. It is the most common complaint of women of all ages. It is mostly innocent and a simple complaint. However, sometimes it can be very fatal. You have always seen that leukorrhea, as I said before, it is nothing but white discharge through the vagina. And naturally also many times a woman is facing these problems. So at every age, right from her childhood to her old age, a woman is facing with these problems, and that is why this is very, as I said before, innocuous looking, but still a very critical complaint. So this is a diagrammatic representation of leukorrhea, how it looks as a picture. This is the uterus, the fallopian tubes, and this is the mouth of the uterus, that is the cervix. And this is where the white discharge is obvious. Okay. Then next is there are, as I said before, there are two types. One is naturally occurring, or which is known as physiological, and second is disease related, which is pathological. So in naturally occurring means what? That it is there in the body naturally also, and these symptoms are always there. That as a child, as a woman, as a old woman also, there are many times when she gets white discharge. So these are the symptoms of leukorrhea. The following symptoms suggest that you might be suffering from leukorrhea. As I learn, this audience is a mixed audience. We have medical persons also and non-medical also. So my presentation is designed according to that. The symptoms of leukorrhea are There is foul-smelling vaginal discharge, pain in the stomach or cramps. There is constipation many times, headaches, itching sensation, pain in the lumbar region and calves. Then how you identify it, whether it is normal or abnormal. If the discharge is normal or physiological, it is odorless, mostly colorless, and apart from the occasional feeling of wetness in the vaginal area, there are not many complaints. However, it is still mandatory to consult a doctor for a yearly checkup for pap smear, especially in the perimenopausal age. So these are the conditions. No, mostly it is not spoken very openly, and that is why this is the picture which I have inserted in this. Type 1 is physiological or naturally occurring leukorrhea. It is there at birth. It is due to placental estrogen effect. Then before puberty, during ovulation, during coitus, and during pregnancy. Now all these stages, there is naturally estrogen more in the body, and that is why the patient has, or rather the woman has, white discharge through the vagina. And second is pathological or disease related. There are different types of infections which can cause white discharge. The symptoms are always vary. Means one type will show different symptoms, and the other type will show different symptoms. It is mucopurulent, thick, curdy, watery, whatever it is, but it is according to the infection which the patient is suffering from. So these are basically into 3 or 4 types. One is mucopurulent, thick and curdy, watery, and sometimes mixed. So these are the causes of leukorrhea: hormonal disturbances, increased estrogen levels, improper diet at the time of ovulation and in early pregnancy, during sexual excitement, due to undernutrition, dysfunctional state of the genital tract, and indigestion. So next is, in some cases there might be pain, itching, burning, foul smelling, and constipation in some patients. Then in pathological leukorrhea or disease, it is a there are non-infective causes. First is cervical erosion, cervical ectropion, cervical polyp, cervical neoplasia. Second is vaginal, increased pelvic congestion in retroversion and prolapse. Truly speaking, this is not leukorrhea. Means when a patient is infected and when she is having a different colored discharge, it is not called as leukorrhea, because leuko means white color. But this discharge is not white color, it is mucopurulent. But still it is a vaginal discharge, therefore it is clubbed into leukorrhea. It should actually be called as abnormal vaginal discharge. There is vaginitis, trichomonial monilial vulvovaginitis, bacterial vaginosis, atrophic vaginitis, vulvovaginitis in children. These are the types. Then there is cervicitis. Cervix is the mouth of the uterus, and there are 2 types of infections in that. One is gonococcal, chlamydial, viral, and in chronic there is cervicitis, non-specific, and tubercular. Among all these causes, specific vaginitis is the most common. Now, clinical features, trichomonal, or the symptoms vary, as I said before. The symptoms vary according to the infection or the causing factor. The symptoms may develop after 4 to 28 days after sexual intercourse. Thin, greenish yellow, frothy discharge, profuse and offensive. Frothy because organism ferments carbohydrates, producing a gas with rancid odor. Irritation and itching of various degrees. Dysuria and dyspareunia is present. Dysuria म्हणजे युरिनला त्रास होणे, because as I said, there is general public also there in this presentation. That is why for them I was speaking in the colloquial language. Dysuria means painful micturition or burning micturition, and dyspareunia means sexual coitus is painful. This infection in men is also usually there, but it is asymptomatic. So many times what happens, a patient comes to us and she says that I'm having white discharge in so many years. I've shown so many doctors, but अभी तक कुछ मुझे relief ही नहीं मिला. The main reason is these patients are treated alone. Actually, they should be treated with the husband, because this infection is silent infection on the it is remains on the male organ also, but it is in asymptomatic. So the patients are wondering कि हमें तो कुछ नहीं हुआ मैडम, आप हमको क्यों बुला रही है. This is also one reaction which we get. But still, having said this, nowadays many husbands are cooperative, so they come to the OPD and they do take treatment. So next type is monilial or candidial vulvovaginitis. This is caused by Candida albicans, gram-positive yeast-like fungus. Part of normal endogenous flora is 50% woman. Then it thrives on acidic medium, especially with abundance of carbohydrates. Sexual transmission is not the common mode of infection. Many times patients ask that is it because of this, it is because of that. But this type of infection is not because of sexual transmission. Then next is the clinical features of candidal vulvovaginitis. Curdy white discharge with intense pruritus. There is the excessive amount of itching is there in this type of infection. And as I said before, there are three types. One is mucopurulent, one is thick and curdy, and one is watery. So when it is thick and curdy, the itching is not so intense. But when it is only bacterio-specific, like bacterial vaginosis, that time it is more, the pruritus is excessive. And in this candidal vulvovaginitis also there is intense pruritus. Pruritus म्हणजे itching. Okay. Dysuria if vulval excoriation is due to itching. Dyspareunia due to local soreness. Sometimes male partner may have candida balanitis. And on examination there are thin and white clumpy discharge, cottage cheese like. Then next is the treatment, vaginal. There are imidazole derivatives like clotrimazole, miconazole, etc. Clotrimazole 100 mg pessary daily for 7 days. They block the organism's capacity to produce estrogen, a substrate necessary for development of the yeast capsule. Oral fluconazole 150 mg single dose. Better result if husband is also treated. As I said before, the husband is a very critical factor in this. Only treating the wife is not enough, because see, you treat the wife, she's a local application, you give oral medicines, but still whenever they have contact again the infection is introduced in the vagina, and that is why there is the chronicity. These patients tell us that since 3 years, 4 years, I'm suffering from this, and still I'm getting this problem. The third type is the bacterial vaginosis, one of the most common causes of vaginal discharge, non-specific vaginitis. No single organism is responsible. Normal lactobacilli are replaced with Gardnerella vaginalis, and anaerobic bacteria like Streptococci are present. What it means is actually for the layman that usually lactobacilli, these are the bacteria which are present in curds also. So they are necessary for fermentation. Now these are naturally also present in the vagina. They are there too. That is the reason why the pH of the vagina is acidic, and that is the reason that why we are usually protected by the infections, usually also. But in this case, what happens is the normal lactobacilli, they are replaced by other bacteria, and that is why there is infection. The increased incidence, that is the woman with STDs, the woman using IUCDs. IUCD means contraception. So next is the clinical features of bacterial vaginosis. It is copious malodorous discharge, thin gray and white colored, often adherent to the vagina. Irritating symptoms are absent, no itching, etc. Sexual partners are not affected in this case. Bacterial vaginosis affects pregnancy adversely, preterm labor, premature rupture of membranes, chorioamnionitis, post-abortal infection, postpartum endometritis. In gynec, there is recurrent UTI, PID, post-hysterectomy cuff cellulitis. What it means is, for the normal person or the layman, that if a patient is pregnant and she is having white discharge, then she should be treated. She should not be ignored. Many times the relatives or the mother, or is some ignorant people tell the patient that नहीं कुछ नहीं होता, ऐसे तो होता ही रहता है, ज़्यादा डॉक्टर के पास जाओगी तो ज़्यादा मेडिसिन देगी, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. लेकिन what happens is during pregnancy, if she is having continuous white discharge, that is going to it is going to have adverse effects. What effects it will have is preterm labor, premature rupture of membranes, means she might go in labor early, and we don't want a baby which is not 9 months complete. They have their own issues. Chorioamnionitis means the amniotic fluid which is there inside, it gets infected. Then postpartum endometritis means delivery nantar, post delivery also the patient might have infection because of this continuous white discharge. In gynec, recurrent UTI, many patients, especially in the menopausal age, they complain this, that I am having burning in the vagina, I am having slight white discharge, and I am having pain. And of course, I am going to come to that atrophic vaginitis, yeah, senile vaginitis. But this is repeated UTI also is a symptom of leukorrhea. PID is pelvic inflammatory disease. Then post hysterectomy, now especially after hysterectomy, also patients come with this complaint, and then they are wondering that ऐसे क्यों हो गया अभी, अभी तो हमने थैली भी निकाली, फिर भी हमको प्रॉब्लम है, तो ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? But the reason is different. They are having infection there, and that infection is related to their atrophic vaginitis or due to the age. So this is the reason that even if after hysterectomy also a patient can complain of white discharge. Next is atrophic vaginitis. As I said before, this is senile vaginitis. It occurs in postmenopausal women. Atrophy of vulvovaginal structure due to estrogen deficiency. The vaginal defense is lost and mixed pathogens normally present in the vagina gain footing. It occurs in postmenopausal woman, which means senile means matare, बुड्ढा हो गया, बुड्ढी हो गई, like that. So that means the patient is old. Senile means old, and vaginitis means infection. So it occurs in most postmenopausal women. Above 60 and all patients come to us, and then they say that there is lots of itching, there is burning sensation, and I am having white discharge there, down there. So this is because of there is no estrogen there now, and atrophy means the size has become less of the uterus, and the vaginal defense is lost. Mixed pathogens normally present in the vagina, they become more strong. As is the saying now, because of coronavirus, everyone knows now what is immunity, what is your anduruni shakti, and all those things. You are bombarded with these things. On the TV, on WhatsApp University is always telling us new things. But it really matters. Your immunity really matters. And it matters in this case also. Because if when the immunity is down, the ऐसा बोलते हैं ना कि suppose there is a, for example, I am just giving you, that कोई गली का गुंडा है and he's having full power and control in that area. And for some reason he falls sick और कुछ होता है उसको. So otherwise people who wouldn't have dared to challenge him or do something, these people also get their own footage. So same thing happens in immunity also. When your immunity is strong, no virus is going to dare attack you or come inside your body. But the moment the defenses are down, what is going to happen? The bacteria which were there before also in the vagina or in that area, they are going to attack and they are going to become strong. So this is the way it works. What are the clinical features? They are yellowish and sometimes blood-stained discharge or spotting, discomfort and soreness in the vulva, evidence of pruritus vulva on examination, vaginal walls, they are thin and pale and inflamed, tiny superficial ulcerations or bleeding points might be seen. And for PV examination, when you examine the patient, it is very, very painful. So pruritus vulva means, as I said before, it is itching, and ulcerations and bleeding points, they are seen. PV means per vaginal examination. Okay. Then next is vulvovaginitis in childhood. Now, childhood, there is a, as I said before, there are 5 stages in a woman's life when she has vice discharge, which is normal, but it shouldn't be excessive. It shouldn't have itching. It shouldn't have foul smell, and it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be offensive in any sense. The girl should not feel embarrassed. The girl should not feel awkward, and her health should not be affected. That is the main thing. So in childhood also she is having white discharge because the area has to be moist. But sometimes it increases. Now why it increases in childhood is due to lack of estrogen. Vaginal defense is absent, and because there is no estrogen that time, so there will be no defense. And girls between 3 to 7 years are commonly affected. Frequent perineal contamination of vaginal orifice with bowel pathogens is the cause. Now, this is directly related to her cleanliness. This cleanliness is important because if the girl doesn't know how to clean her body, how to clean her anus, then the infection from that area can come towards the vagina. The direction of how she cleans the anus is very important after her bowel movements, and this should be explained to her by her mother, by the attendant who is there with her. And this is very common, especially in girls hostels, or uh, this people who are staying away from their parents, the small girls who are suffering slum area, who have no attendants properly to tell them how to clean their area. It is an embarrassing situation, so they don't ask, and they don't ask, so they don't get cleanliness awareness. They don't get. Then there is the foreign body in the vagina. Sometimes children play things, put anything in the vagina just out of curiosity in the anus. And then sometimes the attendant or the mother may notice this discharge, and the teacher may notice vulval itching. A teacher, if she is observant, she will, especially in KG students and first, second standard girls, if the teacher is observant, she may observe these things, that the girl is continuously, itching her, that there is irritant factor in her vaginal area. Then she should examine, or she should tell her parents ki this is the way this girl is behaving. And when you examine, you can see that there sometimes girls put mud also inside. There's so many cases we have seen. Vulva shows redness or discharge on inspection. So next is management. How you will manage it? First is reassurance, then thorough cleaning after defecation. As I said before, the direction how you clean, it should be from front to back, not from back to front when you clean the anus. Because then you touched the fingers who have touched the anus, they touch the vagina. And now you are so conscious about hand hygiene and all. I'm sure these infections also must have come down because of hand sanitization, physical distancing, and all those cleanliness and hygiene measures we are applying because of the COVID situation. But even I will, in fact, I will say that even after the COVID goes, it will go someday, of course. At least its virality will come down, and someday, जैसे we are used to tubercular infections, and they are IgG they are there in our body in the form of IgG and antibodies. The same thing will happen with COVID-19 also. But still, I hope that whatever good habits we have learned because of this COVID situation, I hope we continue these, because these are very, very hygienic. And you must have noticed, I don't know whether you have noticed it or not, but the respiratory tract infection rate has come down thanks to the cleanliness which has been observed because of COVID situation. Because people are wearing masks, they are washing their hands, and frequently they are trying to put distance between, physical distance, not mental or social, but physical distancing. And because of that, the rate of other respiratory infections has definitely come down. And so this cleaning, defecation, and all these things, they automatically get taken care of. Use cotton underwear, avoid underclothes at night. This is about the small girls who are infected. Cotton is everyone knows that cotton is the most reliable and healthy material to be used for underwear. However, for other obvious reasons, people like synthetic and decorative underwear and all. But if you are infected and if you are having a problem, then at least that time you should not wear other kinds of material which are silky and you know what I mean to say. But if you are suffering from an infection, then please insist that you are using hosiery material or cotton underwear, and this applies to the men also in your life. A bland skin cream can be protective. A bland means which usually we use soframycin, which is a very good antibiotic. Which this antibiotic works very well on the skin issues. Oral metrogel is given if the discharge is offensive. The discharge is calculated according to the age and weight of the child. If she is a child only, 6-7 years old means she is a child only. So she is given these medicines, and local cleaning is important, and counseling is important. She has to be counseled, that girl, that this area you have to clean it like this. You should not put anything inside, and you should follow health and hygiene. Next is, what are the investigations you are going to do if you are having white discharge? It depends on the age, of course. If the girl is, as I said before, if she is a girl, then we don't do pap smears in girls. But this is the list of the investigations: pap smear, liquid cytology, colposcopy, punch biopsy, biopsy under colposcopic guidance, endometrial biopsy. This is SOS. SOS means what? Seva Soz. Actually, the translation is Seva Soz, and the original phrase has started from people who were working on the ship. I think this history everyone knows, but this SOS abbreviation is used in medical as an emergency. This is for, of course, the people who are there with me, who are not from the medicine field. So, say our souls is the SOS signal which we give when, especially the captain of the ship, when he feels that his ship is drowning or there is some other emergency coming up or whatever. But then they send a signal, and that is known as save our souls, means save us. So that is SOS. Now in medical language, this means that it is a emergency. Whenever you need it, you will do it. So pap smear, I will give some time for this, because spend some more time on this explaining pap smear, because pap smear is a very common test. I'm sure everyone in the audience must be knowing the importance of pap smear. Pap smear, the name has come from the scientist. The scientist is Papanicolaou, but it is such a big name that nobody can. It is such a mouthful that you can't pronounce it properly also. So that must have happened that time also. So that is why the short form came, pap smear. It is nothing but the cervical liquid. In cervical discharge is taken on a glass slide, and then it is fixed with a biofix spray which contains alcohol, and it is fixed, and then it is sent to the laboratory, and then it is observed under the microscope. So if you don't see any atypical cells, as we called in medical parlance, so if there are any abnormal cells in that, atypical cells, then it is a sign of cancer. So, or sometimes it is a sign of very severe infection, but you have to check this. So every woman after the age of 35 to 40, in the perimenopausal age, especially after 40, whether she has menses or not, but she has to be checked for CA, and pap smear is the best test. It is very cost effective, not more than 700 rupees. At least in our hospital, it is for 700. Then second is liquid cytology. It is similarly like pap smear only, but it is a bit expensive, but it is more accurate than pap smear. In this, the same system is procedure is done, but it is done by a brush, and that brush, full brush is inserted in the bottle which contains the biofix liquid. So this liquid fixes the cells which are there, atypical cells, and then the liquid is checked under microscope. That is why this is known as liquid cytology. This is, as I said before, this is more accurate, but this is expensive. Then comes colposcopy. Colposcopy is nothing but a big microscope, but it has a a bigger camera, and you have to identify the cells in the villi and the VI style, and then you can take pictures also. And the cancerous cells are stained by iodine, and because of the stain you can identify which cells are cancerous and which are not. The advantage of colposcopy is it can catch cancer cells even before cancer affects you. So this is the best treatment, or this is the best investigation any woman can do. And it's in fact more and more colposcopy centers should start in India, because that is the only way how to protect women from cancer. This is a little, I will not say it is not related to my topic. Leukorrhea and cancer go hand in hand, but still it is a very important disease which everyone should know. And cervical cancer, the good news is that it can be completely cured, but the bad news is that maximum patients who die of cancer in India, in all the women, they die of cervical cancer, and the reason is only because it is not identified early. And that is the reason I keep on saying that white discharge, it might look innocent, it might look simple, but sometimes it might be a symptom of cancer, and that is why you should evaluate it very sincerely. At least once a year you should go to the gynecologist and check up, because if you don't do that, then it will directly go to the third stage, and when the symptoms start, that time it will be very difficult to control, and the patient may lose her life also. So if you want to prevent all these things, pap smear is there, but pap smear is still, again, it is a test which is identifies the cancerous cells. It doesn't identify the precancerous ones. But colposcopy is such a test in which the precancerous cells are also identified, and you can catch it before it catches you. Actually, the phrase is that catch it before it catches you. So the moment you see these are precancerous cells and this patient is going to have cancer, then before that only we cut that area, we remove it. We freeze it by cryosurgery, or by we remove it by loop excision, that is leap therapy. Either way we remove that part, and the patient's uterus is also protected, and her life is also protected. So colposcopy is the test which should more and more, people should do it more and more. Next is punch biopsy. This is the same as you remove the part of the cervix and you send it to the pathological lab, and you can see whether the cancer is there or not. Biopsy under colposcopic guidance, and endometrial biopsy. In this, if you are having symptoms, then only it is done. Otherwise, usually we don't do it. Then next is, suppose you are pregnant and you are having white discharge. Does it matter? So as I said before, if it is small amount, she is not having much itching, and then because normal discharge is also there, that discharge is necessary to protect you, protect the baby, protect you, protect the vagina from infections. But if it is excessive, then she has to be treated. So what are you going to look for if you are pregnant and having white discharge? Whether the discharge is heavy, whether it is thick and foul smelling, whether it is changed in a manner that concerns you. Means first it was different, and now जैसे 6 month हुआ, 7 month हुआ, और अभी कुछ अलग ही दिख रहा है मैडम, ऐसा the patients tell us कि ये कुछ different है. So then you should examine, you should see what is happening. There is large quantity. The large quantity is also not normal. If it is large quantity, you have to identify whether it is amniotic fluid तो नहीं जा रहा है. Then you have to ask the patient. There are different questions which we ask the patients. How to identify whether this is amniotic fluid, or whether it is normal white discharge, or whether it is pathological. But this is related to my PG students, whom I, day in, day out, we are talking in this language. Therefore, how much ever I am trying, it is happening that I am speaking in the medical language only. So please excuse me for that. But still, as layman also, you should know all these things. That is why I am very much, concerned that you should know all these things. So next is, now we'll come to the Ayurvedic view. As I can see someone is asking me this question. Neha madam, I'm very happy to see you today here. And Neha madam is my FPI colleague, Family Planning Association of India. and very active person. It is her question that Ayurvedic medicines for these infections. Yes, ma'am, I'm coming to that. Uh,
We'll
yes.
take all the questions at the end of the session.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I saw this question in the chat box. That is why I was responding. Okay.
Yes, we'll take one by one of every question.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So this is the Ayurvedic view. In Ayurveda, what it is called? It is called as Shweta Pradara, and Pradar means actually the now many people who follow Ayurveda are Marathi speaking or Hindi speaking also. So in that language, अवयव फाटल्याप्रमाणे असं वर्णन केलेलं आहे ग्रंथांमध्ये. They have expressed it like in the way that as if the organ has burst. That way the discharge comes out, whether it is bleeding, whether it is white discharge, whether it is the bile, anything excessive is pradar. Now when it is excessive pradar, it means uh, shweta pradar. Here it means shweta pradar, means what? That white colored discharge is there, and this discharge is in the excessive way. That is why it is known as shweta pradar. There are other diseases which are known as these words are very odd for the layman. Those who don't know or are not familiar with Ayurveda, they will feel ki what is this, which language is this, whether it is Marathi, whether it is Sanskrit, but this is Sanskrit, and in Ayurveda it is explained as Yoni Vyapat, Vatas, Pittas, Kafash, Sannipatik, Upapluta, Acharana, Aticharana, and Paripluta. So Yoni Vyapad means Sankat, means there's some problem, and Yoni means vagina. Not only vagina actually, all the reproductive set of organs is known as Yoni in Ayurveda, Travarta Yoni. So these diseases are mentioned. All these diseases which I just mentioned now, Vatas, Pittas, Kapash, Sannipatik, and Upapluta Yoni. All these are Yoni Vyapad or diseases of the vagina, which have the white discharge. But this differential diagnosis is for students, and therefore I am not going to much highlight that, how to identify Vamini, how to identify Aticharana. But this is not an exam paper, so I will not tell you that. But suffice it to say that whatever I have discussed till now, white discharge of with itching, without itching, thick and curdy, watery, and yellowish and green, all these are mentioned in all these diseases in Ayurveda, all these Yoni-Vyapas. So Aticharana means, as I said, if you have lack of hygiene, because of that, अगर किसी को होता है white discharge, so that is Aticharana, Acharana. So all this is Ayurveda. So some people always ask me that madam कुछ घरगुती उपाय नहीं है क्या इस पर? Do I have to always take so many medicines? Because once we start antibiotics and all, patients get uncomfortable, and most of the times they come to us because of we are giving them Ayurvedic treatment. So many times patient has already taken heavy dose of antibiotic, still she is having leukorrhea, and that is why they come to me. But one thing I have to again stress that in many doctors or many, I'm not saying doctors, but in many patients I have seen that even if the doctor gives treatment for the husband, they don't take it. So if the patient has taken the medicine alone and she has not given her husband the antibiotics, then we have to repeat the course. Because whether it is Ayurvedic, whether it is allopathic, the medicine has to run its full course. If you take it halfway in between, then none of the medicines are going to be successful. Then you cannot blame the medicine. Then you have to blame yourself that why this is happening to me. So even if you take Ayurvedic, you have to follow it to the T. And if you take allopathic, then also if the husband is not ready or something, you should tell the doctor that my husband is not taking medicine. Then we will counsel him in our way. And these are the medicines which usually we give for leukorrhea. These are also home remedies, in the sense people can take it on the counter, and these you found in the house also, like fenugreek seeds, methia. Methia is a very common element in our food. Many people put in idli batter also, methia is there. Then banana, everyone knows. Coriander also, it is a day in day out we eat it. aloe vera is not actually a, I'll not say it is regularly in our diet, but many patients of mine drink aloe vera juice, not for this, but for other reasons, like, for the health of the hair, to have a moisturizing factor in their body, to decrease acidity. But yes, it also has a very good effect on leukorrhea, and that is why there are some medicines which contain aloe vera, like Kumari Asav. So we give that, but aloe vera is not only it. Saying that it has only this function is, putting a very big limitation to aloe vera. Aloe vera has a mass of, so many effects, that limiting its use only for this part is a injustice to aloe vera. Then there is neem. Neem is antibiotic, Ayurvedic or a herbal antibiotic, as we can say. It kills the germs. So it many times it is used to be put in water also, and especially small children when they are bathing, or when we are bathing the small children rather, that time we put neem in their bath water. So many soaps also give this advertise that this contains neem and all. Okra means lady's finger, bhindi as we call. Mango has multiple benefits apart from being a very delicious fruit. Mango is very delicious and very helpful, very healthy, and of course you should have it in moderation. But still, it is a very good medicine for white discharge. Indian gooseberry is amla. Amla also, everyone is famous amla juice. I'm sure so many Ayurvedic products are in the market today, that explaining these will be a repetition. Then next is other home remedies are like vinegar is used, apple cider vinegar, and it is used as a local application, vaginal wash once or twice daily. Then then there is fenugreek seeds, or methia as we say. This has to be boiled in 4 cups of water for 30 minutes. Strain and cool. And this also can be used as a vaginal douche. Then Indian gooseberry root powder, that is Avla Churna. We use it many times. Practically in our hospital, we use Tirfala Churna. Trifala bharad actually we take. We take the coarse powder. We don't take the smooth and fine powder is not taken, because if you don't use it as a in the decoction form, or kadha as we say, it is it will the pieces will go and sit in the vagina only. So the whole purpose is lost, and that is why Trifala Churna bharad, or coarse powder, should be taken. And you have to, the procedure I will tell in short, that you have to take at least 2 liters of water, and put one big, at least 100 grams of coarse powder of Trifala. Trifala means Hirda, Beheda, Avla, these are the 3 constituents. One of them is Amla, or Indian gooseberry. So this powder, this bharad or this coarse powder you get already ready made in all Ayurvedic medical shops. So you make a decoction, or kadha as it called, boil it half to half, let it cool down, strain it, and then use the decoction to clean the vagina. This can be done twice a day, once when you are taking bath, and once in the evening when you have the full privacy, you are alone in the house, and you can go in the bathroom and use that kadha. You can use the kadha twice. Once, if you make it in the morning, you can repeat it in the evening. And this is the way to clean the vagina. It is definitely better than whatever we wash and other things we are using nowadays. And there are other remedies also. Indian gooseberry, pomegranate, saffron, all these as you can see in the picture. One more thing I would like to add in this context is that like leukorrhea, there is another symptom which is very close to it, and that is repeated urinary tract infections. Why this happens? Because because of corona and all, now railways are stopped and all. I am speaking of the situation before COVID, and after COVID also, someday again the railways are going to start, and the usual chaos also will be there, and the same old problem of not having a good sanitization and hygiene, and no ladies toilets. So what happens is girls, especially teenage girls or college going girls, they travel from far off places. 2 2 hours की जर्नी रहती है. And again अगर बीच में if she has to go to the for a washroom, there are no washrooms available and they are also not secure as far as we know. So the बीच में एक movement शुरू हो गया था इस relation में, right to pee. So what happens is these girls drink less water just because they shouldn't get a sensation of urine, and they can control it. But what happens is it affects very badly. One, there is less liquid in the body. So the washing and cleaning of the kidneys and the urinary system should take place. That doesn't happen. They go in dehydration. And second is, in spite of all this, sometimes they have to use public toilets. So that time they catch infection. And this also is another reason why these patients will complain of white discharge, because the vagina and the urethra are very closely related. It is very close to each other, and the urethra of the female is very short. So that is also one reason why infections are very, uh, common. So now, what is the treatment in Ayurveda? According to Ayurveda, this is basically a Kafaja Vyadhi, or Ama Nirmiti is there. So we have to stop Am. Now, for people who don't know what is Ayurveda, what is Tridosh, what is Saptadhatu, so in short, I will tell you that there are three doshas or three main elements in our body. They are the creative factors on which our whole life and whole body functions are dependent. One is Vata dosha, second is Pitta dosha, and third is Kapha dosha. Vata dosha is responsible for all the movements of the body, all the actions which take place, like breathing, smiling, speaking. All this comes, that prerna or that motivation comes from the brain because of the Vata dosha. This I am speaking in a very, very simple language. Means you should understand what are these doshas and why they are so important. Pitta is responsible for your digestion and all the metabolism which is there in the body. Whatever the food you eat, right from your saliva, then it goes in the esophagus, then the stomach, then the intestines, and then it goes out. The whole system is looked after by uh, Pitta dosha mainly. And third is Kapha dosha. Kapha dosha is responsible for the growth and nutrition. And for the Sanghan or Sandhanamak means the basic foundation of your life, the thickness and the strength of your bones. The all this the heavy elements in your body, they come from Kapha dosha. This is very, very, superficial way of explaining actually. But this is, I want you to understand this, because whenever a patient of leukorrhea comes, we have to ask her whether she is having diabetes, whether she is pre-diabetic, whether she is having indigestion problems, whether she is having other problems of kapha like asthma or medoro, whether she is obese. So all these things go together, because if you don't eat properly, if you don't have a proper and healthy diet, then it is going to cause ama, that is toxicity, and this toxicity has to be removed by removal of this toxicity will be removed, and then the kapha dosh will be lessened. The bad effects of the kapha dosh will be lessened. So this is the way to treat in Ayurveda. So Agni Mande has to be treated. The arm has to be, pushed out, flushed out. And the medicines which are very common are Chandra Prabhavati, Sukshma Trifala, Ushanuga Churna with rice water, Lodhrasav, Gandhak Rasayan, Yoni Dhanvan, and Trifala Kadha. This I explained just now. Then there are coriander seeds, ज्याला धणे म्हणतो आपण मराठीमध्ये. This is a very home remedy, and many times our mothers also have suggested this. If you go and tell your mummy, means पूर्वीचं सांगते. If you go and tell your mummy that I'm having burning micturition, then she is to just soak some coriander seeds in water, and next day morning she is to give it to you for drinking, and then the UTI would have gone, because it is a very good uh, antibiotic, and it is a cooling agent. Tandulodak, same action. Methi seeds, I told you before only. Kamadudhavati, Ashoka Ghanavati, Panchavalkal Kadha for vaginal douching, and Patrangasav are some of the more medicines. Principles of Ayurvedic treatment, I just went through this. Kapha, Ama, Agni. These are the main things. Treatment comes under two headings, general treatment and specific treatment. General treatment is the one, overall your lifestyle should change. If you are obese, then you should become thin. If you are pre-diabetic, you should take care of your sugar levels. You shouldn't allow it to escalate and go to diabetes. So these are the general line of treatment. Second, specific treatment means if your patient is having a specific complaint, like especially unique undo only, or then you have to treat it accordingly. Basically, all Ayurvedic medicines are Kashaya Rasatmak medicines for this treatment. Again, these are the medicines which are given in our texts, Ayurvedic Granthas, and penciled root of Rohitak of Amalaki, it should be taken with honey. Paste of Lodhra, it is very common. Lodhra Vati is, Lodhra Asav is more common. Varti was one type which we used to use. Pichu, these are tampons. This is local treatment. And drugs again, Nagrodadi group, use of Nakeshar with Takra. This is some, I think I saw some thesis recently on this for white discharge. Use of Nakeshar, just for 3 days, their Grantha, the people, Acharyas are saying, take only for 3 days and with buttermilk and the white discharge will go. So let's see what the outcome of the thesis comes out. Then there is a powder root of Chakramarda. Tandulodak, as I said before, it is rice water. This is used. Asavarishta, Lakshmanarishta, Ashokarishta, Patrangasav, Lodhrasav. All these are described in different Ayurvedic texts. Lakshmanarishta is a Bhaishaja Ratnavali, Pradara Rogadikar. So these are very good medicines you can use according to your what the doctor says, of course. This is not for self-medication. Then Ghruta and Tail, Ashoka Ghruta, Nagarodadi Ghruta, all these Ghrutas are Kukuttvak Bhasma with Madhu. This again, one thesis is going on. One of our students is doing it, and the very good results we have got of this. Then next is how you prevent this. This is have a healthy diet. Now, by healthy, what do you mean? Some people drink lots of water and then think that we are very healthy. No. What we have to do is we have to do it in proportion. Some people, just because even if you are not thirsty and you go on drinking and drinking, what you are going to do? You are just going to put more extra pressure on the kidneys, nothing else. So you should not take less water also, but you should not drink, means how to say, every 1 hour. I have seen one of my patients, she used to carry her bottle with her, and then afterwards she got so used to it that she used to say, Ki, if I don't drink, even if I don't have the bottle with me, I feel uneasy. So that is also not good. Healthy diet means you have a lot of fruits, vegetables. If possible, don't have curds in the night. Curds are very good. They are very healthy. And you can see in the gym especially, all they are, probiotic and all. So Ayurveda and I will not say allopathy, but I will say the current science, I will say, they are always at crosswords, means they are always at a cross in some cases, like especially of curds. We Ayurvedic people always say ki don't eat curds, especially not in the night. And even if you want to eat in the morning also, it should be only 12-hour fermentation. But this is not observed, or this is not seen by the allopathic people. But anyway, we are not going to fall into that, not we don't want to indulge in those things. So healthy diet means जितना भूख है उतना ही खाओ, ज्यादा मत खाओ. बेसिक नियम आहे जीवनाचा. Maintaining good personal hygiene, taking care while using contraceptives. Suppose you notice any change in the vaginal discharge and you have to consult your physician as soon as possible. Leukorrhea is a common condition, can be very embarrassing, but hazardous to health if ignored. And hence it is very important to consult a doctor or the physician as soon as possible. Then, lastly, a word of caution. However simple you feel your complaint is, you should not ignore it. Have a yearly checkup with your gynecologist, especially if you are above 40 years of age. Do not self-medicate. And yes, and these medicines which are mentioned in this PPT are only for your knowledge, but they are not to be taken without any medical uh, advice. And do not self-medicate. I think I have come to the end of my lecture. I can see Sheetal smiling there. So thank you very much for
Yes,
listening to
thank you,
everything.
ma'am. Such a wonderful lecture. And one question is from Chandni, ma'am. What about
Yeah.
void discharge in non-married girl?
Okay. Yes. Unmarried girls also have this very good question, ma'am. Unmarried girls, as I said before, there are 5 stages in a woman's life when she has white discharge. So one of them, when she's born, a girl child is born. For the first 7 days, there will be white discharge. This is normal because of the estrogen of the placenta. Then second, when a girl is becoming young, like when ज्याला आपण म्हणतो की वयात आली मुलगी, so that is puberty. And in puberty also, before she gets her first menses, many girls have this complaint of white discharge. They will go to running to their mothers or sisters, जो भी उनको close है, उनको पूछेंगे कि मम्मी मुझे ऐसा हो रहा है, मेरी ब्लूमर ये हो रही है, वेट हो रही है. So there is nothing to worry as long as she is not having itching, foul smell, and copious, the amount is more. It is okay. Then again, before menses also a girl once she starts menstruating, in between menses during the ovulation period again estrogen is at a higher level. So that time also she is going to have white discharge. And then during coitus, but we are talking of unmarried girls, so these three factors only are applicable to them. What they have to do is follow personal hygiene. That is the main thing. You have to, I gave the example of Tripura Kadha that they can use. There are many Ayurvedic medicines you can get on the counter, but personal hygiene is more important. And if at all she is still having problems, then she should go and show her gynecologist. Tell her mother that take me to a gynecologist. So medicines we shouldn't give mostly. And unmarried girls, I told you this problem that they control the urine, they don't go, they get embarrassed also. I have seen many girls, when we're traveling or something, they feel embarrassed कि हमने पूछा भी तो वो नहीं जाते हैं कि किसी को जाना है क्या, किसी को जाना है क्या. If they say no, हमको जाना नहीं है, means they get embarrassed about going to the toilet also. So that is also one reason.
Yes, Neha ma'am asked that please suggest Ayurvedic medicines for these infections. I think ma'am has
Yeah.
covered every aspect of
Yeah.
Ayurvedic treatments. So thank you very much, ma'am. I think 50 to 60% of women are suffering from different various kind of vaginal discharge, and only 31% seek the medical help. So this issue means because of you, ma'am, we understand that white discharge is a single color, but we get the shades of this from childhood to old age, and how serious it is from a single white discharge to a cervical cancer.
Yes.
So I think the depth of this and seriousness of this topic is very important to reach to the common public. So thank you very much for the such a informative lecture, and we would like to have some other lectures also. I think last month you organized the national webinar on COVID care in obstetric. So we would like to listen on that topic also. And thanks
Yes.
the listener for patience listening. And if you have any questions, you can ask after the session. In next lectures also, you can contact me on Vedayu, that is Dr. Shraddha 8828220108. And tomorrow, again, we will meet at the same time, 6 to 7, with Dr. Mitali Jadhav on the topic of beauty and skincare in women. And don't worry, mains also can join with us for the beauty and skincare. So thanks once again, ma'am, for such a wonderful topic. And thanks to the listeners also. And
Thank
thank
you,
you.
ma'am.
Yes. And on this note, we will take a break till tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll meet at the same time, 6 p.m.
Okay. Thank you very much.